and welcome back to this week's Talking Ads, where we discuss the ads that have caught our eye this week for good and bad reasons. We are joined by another guest this week. This is Chris. Alex,
Hi.
do you want to introduce?
Yes, so I met Chris, I think it was sort of April, May sort of time last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
I started working in the hatchery downstairs, so Ben that was on last week as well, that's the place we're talking about, basically a shared working space. And I was on my own at that point, and it was quite cool having someone else. It was kind of, you were sort of in the beginnings of your business,
Yeah, absolutely.
as well. And then that was a great thing about it, was like if you are literally just working on your own, you've got all these other people you can have a bit of banter with and throw ideas and stuff. So yeah, it was quite a few months we sort of shared a bit of space. And yeah, we're still friends potentially.
Yeah.
Didn't annoy you that much that you've come on the show. So and then Christmas is a vibrant colour, and you may notice we've got some awesome new mugs with our logo on. So Chris does this sort of is merch the right?
Yeah, promotional merchandise. So a lot of people might not necessarily think it, but when it comes to merchandise, actually the same approaches to advertising and marketing apply as do to any other form. The amount of sort of really bad merchandise that is out there is a little bit worrying, and I'm on a little crusade to help people from stop doing bad merchandise, really. But my journey there was probably a little bit bizarre, and my background's sort of similar to some of your guys. So I started off as a journalist for 3.5 years after uni, and then I went from writing stories to selling pens, basically.
The natural progression.
Yeah. Oh, these pens are pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone uses them, so put a logo on it. So you've now obviously moved out of the hatchery quite some time ago, and you've got your own office now the other side of town. And last time we spoke, you were on about sort of investing in your own sort of massive printer and stuff. So
there's a few things in the plans. Basically, everybody wants everything quickly, and people want more stuff more quickly. So yeah, we've got a few bits of work that we're doing around that. But yeah, it's a really interesting space, and sort of helping people to use physical things in amongst everything else they do. So sort of you send somebody a nice email and then you send them a thank you in the post. It's not rocket science, but sometimes it works quite well.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome. Cool.
So we'll kick straight off into the ads. Does everyone want to kind of give a brief overview of what they're going to be showing?
Yeah, sure. So my ad's from Unbounce, which is a piece of software that we actually use. So it's interesting they've sort of targeted me with it. But yeah, no, it's an ad I liked, this one, for sort of various reasons. They sort of introduced the end beneficiary, if that's the right word, in terms of the actual client, and then also the agency that also uses it. So yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting one that sort of mixed with a case study that I hadn't seen before.
Mine is one for a chocolate brand, and I brought along because I'm not really sure, and I wanted to see everyone else's reaction because mine was a bit like, a bit weird. And the caption is necessary. It's very necessary because that kind of explains the confusion. And then yeah, that's mine.
I brought 3 because I was greedy. So I've got a bunch of ads about cars because I had a long battle trying to get hold of a new one. And then I've just brought 2 other ads that I found interesting. One with some video in, which I really liked, and one with just a photo that I felt they could have done some more with.
Awesome. Cool. And I've got an ad that it's kind of a weird one because we would never kind of advertise ourselves and compare ourselves to competitors or try and put a competitor down because it's a bit kind of awkward. But there's a company that have done it to their competitors, and I think they pulled it off really well, quite cheekily, which I really liked.
Cool.
So Chris, you're diving in with your car stuff.
Yeah. So if we start with Volvo One.
Volvo One, okay.
So this one is from the local Volvo dealer. I quite liked it in a sense, in that it was easy enough to understand, but not sort of over the top. And there's a couple of There's the next example I'll show you in a second, which actually is probably similar in a sense that it slags off competitors slightly. But this is I suppose the starting pace. So I've been trying to get hold of a car for a while. I ordered it in March. It turns up in 2 weeks' time. Wasn't supposed to take it. And consequently, because I've been looking for information on it and sort of reading up on it until the damn thing turns up, I keep getting served adverts. It's a Volvo that I've ordered, which is sort of almost irrelevant. But I quite like this one because of what happened next. So you go through and you've got the scrolling visual, and there's another one that I haven't bothered to show you because it's pretty much the same. But I'm getting adverts from Volvo dealers all over the place. But this one I really like because they seem to get the data capture bit right. And you got sort of initial teaser information, but then it was very clear that the hope is that somebody could follow it up, and it did it within Facebook,
Yes.
which I thought was really quite nifty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, we don't use this ad type much. We normally like to get people on the page, so that I think. So I agree, it is good and is nifty. I think that's the word to use.
It's a high-tech word, isn't
Yeah,
it?
no, absolutely. But what I feel I would miss out on is the ones that, so if they click on that form, there's an interest there to learn more. If they don't fill it out, you're missing out an opportunity to retarget. Although potentially, I think you can retarget to people that have been on the page. I just like people to get on our either landing page or, because I think sometimes an ad, whether it gives you enough, I think that there's potential that you're missing out on some leads because you could have that step in between of the page.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we've found with these kind of leads, our clients are saying the quality's not as good
because they can't get anything before they go in.
So it's definitely a balance, but yeah, it certainly makes it a lot quicker and easier for.
Yeah, and I get your point actually, because it gives you some information on there, but it doesn't give you sort of that much.
Yeah.
And then on the other take, while we're looking at the thing, we'll just look at the Renault one, which I suppose is slightly better in the sense that, sorry, I'm going to make you click everywhere.
No, that's all right. That's fine. So Renault one, yeah.
Which is just a picture of a car, really. The advert format is pretty crap, but it's the same as everybody else does. I think on that space, nobody really does anything clever.
Yeah.
And they instead just take you to the national landing page where you can see some offers, which is, I suppose it works, but
It doesn't match the offer that's on there, does it?
no, it made it very hard to sort of, you're looking at it and saying 0%, and then it's giving you extra.
Yeah.
There's almost a bit too much for you to work out what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's mentioning £209 a month, 0% APR representative, and £209 deposit, and then are they
Because the
throwing
PCP
an
offers, yeah.
are they throwing an extra £500 off, and then
Yeah, it's all very.
it's not it's PCP and it's not matching, because that sounds like contract hire.
That sounds more like a high purchase ad than it. Odd.
So it is, and I think actually, or what I came out of this is, so I've obviously got that sorted now, but I've looked at loads of stuff, and I think, well, I know it's what you do, isn't it? But the next step is definitely as important as what the ad is.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. No, definitely. We can't, if a client just wants us to run ads for them, we just wouldn't do it, or just say, look, you're not going to get the best value from us, because it's normally the the messaging in the ad is really important, but yeah, like you say, as equally important is that journey to convert them. You can't just convert if you've got a rubbish website and you're not getting any leads. It's because you've got a rubbish website.
Yeah.
Running better ads may help, but it won't fix it. Yeah, definitely.
So we'll finish the car section with the BMW ones, because I think this is where there's a missed opportunity. Because I had to really hunt for this, and so by the point I saw this advert about 3-4 weeks ago, I was getting a bit bored of waiting. And this advert was quite clever, because they'd obviously picked up on delays. And their text says, let down by another manufacturer, we have stock of these particular cars with us. But if you click through to the next page, again, I felt they let themselves down, because it just takes you to a generic test page, which shows you 4 pictures of cars that aren't the ones that I've clicked on.
No, they're not. Because the thing is with these, you can set individual links for these
Yes.
cars up.
Yeah.
And then they could have literally had, a landing page for each particular car. And I can't. It's a bit small, so I can't quite see. But I'll take your word for it. It
that's
doesn't
a
match.
different card so then you go onto the homepage of the website and you try and look. I know this is veering away from the ad a little bit, but you go, okay, well, what cars have they got then? And don't find anything. But then I go onto their Facebook page, actually only when I'm looking to try and find the example of this advert. And yes, it's pretty rubbish. They've put and I've only just screenshotted it on my phone, so I could have made a better job of it. But if you zoom right into that, you should be able to see. They've put a list on their Facebook page, which is pretty rubbish content, or formatted in that way, of all the cars they've actually got. Now, if they'd have clicked, if when I clicked through to that advert, I got that list and it showed me which cars they got in which colours, I feel like that's the way they should have done it.
There's a number of different ways they could have done it better. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Because you want to know what they've actually got, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If they're saying we've got cars, then and they show you pictures of it, then tell me what you've got. I don't want to have to jump through 40 hoops to learn that actually you've only got one in bright pink and I want one in lime green.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why I'd want one in lime green, but no, definitely. This is what frustrates me. Like people, they will say, as the amount of times we have a meeting with a client, they'll say we've tried Facebook ads, it doesn't work. And like if we had a meeting with those guys, they would say we tried Facebook ads, it didn't work. But that whole it wasn't Facebook or even the ad. It was the
frustrating thing is they're so close, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because the ad is really good. The ad got me interested and clicked me through.
Yeah.
And that could have been, if that was a month before it was due to arrive, I probably wouldn't have switched. But if I'd have seen that sort of 6 weeks after I'd ordered, and it said we've got these cars now, I would have gone and looked at that. I would have sort of, and if they had a list of vehicles and they got something I liked on it, I would have got in touch. But it just seemed like they'd made a rush for them back.
They have.
So that's the end of my car rant.
No, good car rant. Love it,
good.
because it just picks out, like I say, like that. It isn't always Facebook ads. It isn't always the targeting that's the problem. It's that journey. It's got to make sense.
Yeah.
And just thinking about how someone's going to click through and what they're going to see, and someone that knows nothing about your business and the position they're in. But yeah, I really like the idea of them like saying, "Have you been let down by another manufacturer?" And you literally had.
Yeah.
So obviously happens a lot. So it's a good hook.
And it's generic enough to not be too blamey. It can work for a few things. And the targeting was I don't know whether it was on purpose or I presume it was on purpose. You're good at these things.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I was going to say that's pretty specific. Yeah, I know.
But it was showing me the type of vehicle that I'd been let down on.
Yeah, no,
so
definitely, yeah.
When I went and looked, they'd got other ads for different models.
Yeah.
So they'd done so much of it right, and then they just let it down at the end.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
Cool. Tom, we'll go with your
Yes, this is one I'd seen recently for Unbounce. So Unbounce is a piece of landing page software that we use. We can sort of get landing pages together quickly, has sort of loads of integrations with email and CRM, so it's actually pretty easy for us and quick for us to get things going. So yeah, on the first thing, it's interesting they've sort of targeted me with it because they should know that I already use it. But then on the other hand, in terms of it's actually kind of sort of showing the landing page and Facebook ad combos that they know work, so maybe they are not actually trying to sell me Unbounce, but they're trying to sell me more use of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I know you pay more with more pages you need and everything else like that, but it's almost trying to sell me a better experience on Unbounce, or how you can make it work better for you. But also quite interesting in terms of, so they actually sell it as okay, so in terms of sort of the people that sort of work on it, in terms of Fatstone Farm in America that sort of run it, they're almost like the business, but then they actually partner with an agency. Yeah. So it actually almost like covers both bases in terms of, there could be a lot of people who think, oh, well, Unbounce isn't for me. It's like, well, yes, it is. Also in terms of, so they've obviously seen the benefit. I think it was the ROI, or sorry, 33 times return on investment. But then also in terms of actually linking through also to the actual agency that use it as well is sort of quite interesting, because if you're agency side, you can think, oh yeah, well, we're like them, we could use it. Or the same with almost like the actual business that's the agency is working for. So yeah, no, I thought it was quite good in terms of, whilst whether it's trying to sell me Unbounce, I don't know, or whether it's trying to sell me more usability of it. I'll imagine it's the latter. Or like to think it is. But yeah, I thought it was a good ad in terms of, and then the sort of what they click through is good, and in terms of it goes through and just shows you. It's basically the case study really, but it's almost just really selling Unbounce working well. on both an agency and sort of client side, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I like it because like with the targeting, you can target people that are interested in digital advertising, and that will you can't separate someone that owns an agency or works at an agency to an end user. So they've thought, let's cover them both off, and it's pretty. And then some people might find it inspiring, the end user, like the customer, like 33 times what I'm spending, for every. That's really good, and they've got an actual case study. It feels real because you've got the real people in there, and it tags in the real agency, and Shopify as well as covering off sort of a number of things there. Interesting. Someone using Shopify would use Unbounce.
That's
the
other thing as well. In terms of it's strange, and that's what does that take away from Shopify? So, but it's bit of an odd one in that respect. But in terms of showing how it can use and whether it's the integrations that work and everything else. So, I thought it was a good one.
Nice.
It was good.
And then didn't you also the ad you brought in last week?
Yes.
About the jumper, you were going to talk to us about the conversion that took place.
So this jumper I'm wearing today was actually as a result of the ad that I put forward on Wednesday, or last week, sorry. In terms of just to sort of like go through the rest of the journey in terms of, so obviously we went through, I sort of said about the fashion assessment that thread it was that gave me. So when I actually went through complete the sign up, they gave me 10 quid off my first purchase. Yeah. So I sort of went through and thought, but it was 10 quid off for 72 hours, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
So I had to use it. So I thought, well, I'm not, I could get a jumper for about 13 quid including delivery. So I'm definitely going to do it. And so went through, got it, and here I am, a converted customer for an ad we've shown.
Fantastic.
I love that.
What a
really
success story.
Ads do work.
They do, that's right. Yeah,
exactly. That is good.
Brilliant.
Chris will go with your next selection.
Okie dokie. Shall we go for this one? Yeah, the small business. Now I'm not really sure why. I presume there's some link to it. I got this advert for aprons, and I only know that it's for aprons by looking at the picture because nowhere in the rest of it does it really mention
So
apron.
we can offer you the best quality in as many options as you can think of! Exclamation mark twice.
Yeah.
Would you miss the opportunity of at least having a look at all of them in our catalogue? I'm not sure. Speak to our copywriter on the punctuations there, the amount of comments. Ask for it. We will send it to you, and you'll be able to make a decision at home.
But then at the bottom, was it that you are looking for the quality image for your business that we can offer you?
It seems like somebody has said, and they're trying, bless them. But it seems like it's one of those where somebody in the office has said, we should try Facebook ads. And they've got somebody to do it. And it just seems a little bit...
And it's like download. The things download, not learn...
Are they selling the image, though, or are they selling the product?
I presume they sell aprons, and that's the only thing I could work out.
Yeah.
I must admit that I didn't actually click through. I was just so bemused that I had to screenshot it because it was just a little bit bizarre.
It looks like someone's used Google Translate.
Yeah, it sort of feels that way,
It's like
doesn't
someone's
it?
written it in French and then used Google Translate.
awful.
It doesn't feel like...
But then they're going to go... It's the same as people do with merchandise sometimes. Somebody says, I had some pens and I gave loads of them out and they didn't work. It's like, well, what did you put on them? And they go, I just put my logo on it. Did you put phone details on it? No. Did you say what you did? No. Well, probably wouldn't work. And I think it's the same... battle here. Somebody has sort of tried to do it and they haven't necessarily thought about it.
Yeah.
So you've just gone to their website. They do indeed do aprons.
Personalised with logos. I think this is the same company. And they were doing Google ads as well.
Yeah. But looking at their website now, the website seems a lot more professional than the ads.
It's quite detached, isn't it?
Bit of a disconnect.
I don't want to make a massive assumption, but it feels like they may have outsourced their Facebook ads from someone not in the UK based on the language.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like it's not been written by... It's not great grammar, is it? It's not great English. But here it is good.
Website looks lovely, actually. Looking at it.
It looks good. And they're obviously investing in photography and design. But yeah, you just get a really bad sort of impression from that.
That's an ad that I would stop. I did. I stopped looking at it. That's a bit odd. Screenshotted it for the purposes of this, and then carried on scrolling. It didn't do anything for me. So that's why I sort of shared it, just as an example of sort of a starting point that was close, but actually nowhere near.
Yeah, so it was potentially targeting you because you've probably been on websites about personalised print clothing and things like that. So you're probably targeting looks like it's right. And then just a bonkers ad.
Yeah,
weird.
One of the honest we've had, I think.
Yeah, that is.
yeah, potentially. Yeah. Okay.
So we'll go for my one, which is an Instagram ad, a video, and a caption that goes alongside it. And this one is about Kinder Bueno. I'll let you guys watch it, and then we can. There's no sound, but it is captioned.
Okay, bear with me a second.
But yeah, it kind of caught my eye for I don't know, a few reasons. I want to see what you guys think of it. So that was it. It was quite quick, which is another complaint I would have, is that it's quick to read it, and I didn't actually quite get it.
That is very quick.
I've got 100 Tupperware boxes.
This one's my favourite. It's got compartments.
Okay.
Time for a Kinder Bueno.
Okay, so...
And
there
then
is...
the caption, sorry. And then the caption is...
Oh yeah, you've screenshotted it.
And I was sat there thinking, what? What is this? I don't get it. And then the caption says this.
When you use more Tupperware than takeaway, you definitely deserve a deliciously creamy Kinder Bueno. Got a lot of big here. So made a lot of assumptions about you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like cross-targeted you with you've been interested in Tupperware. Do you know what I mean? Almost. You know, we've talked about I'm sure they haven't. But you know, we talked about the the credit scoring cross with a football interest or a sports interest or a cricket interest. And we said that was quite good. Feels like they've almost cross-referenced the chocolate with the Tupperware interest. But, it's got an interesting.
But then I'm not really one for Tupperware. I don't really research Tupperware in my spare time. And Kinder Bueno, I mean, I do like Kinder Bueno. I've never researched it or anything. And I think they're trying to obviously say
trying to be quirky.
Yeah, and obviously children chocolate, you give treats to children, adults should have treats as well. But I just think there could have been a better way of doing it. And it's funny, and I actually think if it wasn't like that, I wouldn't have stopped. So when I read the comments, I always I found that interesting when you read the comments, and everyone was kind of thinking, oh, this is me, this is so me. That means I need a Kinder Bueno now. This is so me. And they tag a friend this reminds me of you, and you're like, what?
Wow, maybe just old.
Which is very
So I've seen, and I don't know, did it have any sound at all available, or not any?
I don't actually know.
Because there is I can't remember when, it must have been a while ago, I've seen this campaign as YouTube pre-roll.
Right. Okay.
And I think with there's a series of them. There's 3 or 4 at least of these ads, with them doing boring things, and then at the end they say "Have a Bueno." So I don't know whether it. I think it feels like it needs the rest of the campaign to probably work.
To work, that is true. Now you said that, I think, oh right, I get it. But I just thought
it's kind of the whole adulting thing in terms of probably because you're that kind of age in terms of going from the uni days to sort of a real life.
Job.
Yeah.
Well,
and in terms of so you're you don't really have takeaways as much anymore, but you do have more Tupperware because that's a boring adult thing to do.
because you probably get lunch in
That is true.
I would have said that the series of ads on YouTube was really good.
Yeah.
Because I can remember it, and I can remember the tune in my head now, which is a little bit scary.
That shows it works.
But without I've not bought a Bueno, and B, without having seen that ad doesn't work at all, does it?
No.
Interesting what you see if you get anything next though, because you've watched it. You know what I mean?
So you get another
one in the series,
how does the campaign run from there? But it almost it feels like it started halfway through.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's almost let's see what you get next.
Yeah. So that was mine. Chris, you got another one?
My last one. Which we'll ignore that one. We'll go to the video one, which again is badly screenshotted, but we'll go with it. I quite like this one. I don't do masses of stuff that's packaged, but I just quite like the little playthrough, and everything was really nicely sort of photographed. And I have to say, if I wanted to buy a box, then I think I would have bought their boxes.
I love it. Do you think this is because you're because of what you do? You're
Probably,
like,
and,
is
yeah.
it because we love? I saw a little picture of The Rock there, my hero. I get sidetracked. Do you think it's because we geek out about ads, because we deal with ads all day and we're really passionate about it? Do you think you've geeked out on that because of what you do and you're passionate about your products and things?
Maybe. I mean, I think part of it is also that actually packaging is really boring. But they've put hands in it, and what they've done isn't rocket science, really. It's not especially complicated, but they've used a bit of video. It's moved. It's like, boxes. But they've done it in a way that makes something boring slightly more interesting.
Absolutely. And then I think we've probably said it a few times before, if you use a video rather than a still image, you get loads more reach, we find clicks and everything so much cheaper, even if it's just a moving image of stuff.
Because that's just photos, isn't it? There's no actual video on it. But
absolutely. And you can stitch those together in Facebook now as well, so you can whack all your images in, so you don't need video editing software, anything. So if you are running any Facebook ads and you've got lots of different images like that, you could put something together like that yourself without a video editor, which is pretty cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, nice.
Alex.
Yes, okay, yes. So this wasn't served to me as an ad. I think people have been talking about this week. But I just think they pulled it off really well. But the concept of doing it, especially like if I think about us doing this type of thing, like comparing ourselves against other people. But I think what works out really well was like if you see the Budweiser one, they've used kind of Budweiser's sort of famous, what's up thing, and they got a 0 out of 100. So I don't know who's done the scoring test or where it's from, but essentially nobody liked Budweiser. 97 out of 100 liked Brewdog, and they've sort of taken the mick a little bit using their own thing. And then it's like Foster's 3 out of 100, and it's like your call. So it's kind of they're using their own thing against them. And then Refreshingly Perfect as well. And look at the score. So it's like comparing. It's quite easy to see which one's better, and they're sort of poking a bit of fun. So maybe it's because they've not sort of taken it that seriously that it works. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But that could go very wrong and could be quite arrogant, but it doesn't come across as
Maybe
arrogant.
people do like to see that kind of thing, though.
Yeah.
I think people like the scandals.
Cheekiness.
The cheekiness. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think it depends on your brand's reputation as well, doesn't it? Because Brewdog have always had a reputation of sort of pushing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no,
and I don't know how well it would work on the other foot.
No, so if Budweiser tries to do it, or we'd feel like, I think because they're the underdog as well.
It is,
that's
it's
right.
That
absolute giants, and they've got a real big community as well. I think you can be a shareholder in Brewdog. I think they can. You can be part and have your ownership of it. So maybe all those things. It's a whole sort of branding thing that works together really well. But I love it, but I'd never do anything like it for. I just can't. It just feels like
it's really risky.
It could be really arrogant. But
And also, I think you've got to sort of maintain it as well.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to go down that route as from a branding point of view, then fine. But you've got to keep it up, almost like Paddy Power. I don't know if you see.
Exactly.
Always see loads of that stuff, and you've got to do it forever. You've got to be funny forever.
No, absolutely. I was going to say Paddy Power do it really well, and that would be so easy to not do very well.
Yeah.
It's just so much
Well, you see some
fun
pretty poor imitations of it as well.
Yeah.
So it's, but you've got to keep on with that thing.
There just sort of seem to be this cycle in brands when launched, because if you go back and look at the insurance sector and stuff like that, so there's two brands that I've noticed have sort of toned themselves down a little bit. So can you remember when We Buy Any Car launched, and they had their really annoying song that you couldn't get out of your head? And then over the last however many years, they've really toned that down.
Yeah,
they've gone a bit weird, but but they've not gone quite so annoying. And like Go Compare, they don't use the opera bloke anymore. Because they've sort of established themselves. I don't know whether Brewdog will hit a point when they turn into a middle-aged man.
They don't want either crassness anymore, do they?
Yeah,
risen above it
when they stop becoming the underdog. Yeah, no, absolutely. Really good point. Definitely. Awesome.
Have you got any more? Is that
no, that's it
yours?
from
No?
me.
Cool. That'll be it for today's episode then. Next week we have another guest.
We do have another guest, and it's a third in a row of people that I've sat next to in the hatchery downstairs.
A diverse group.
Yeah. So John is joining us. He does marketing and sales strategy. So he's not so much a technical marketer, but he is all about strategy. So he would have loved this kind of branding conversation. He's that kind of sales and marketing guy. We've done some public speaking together as well. So yeah, be an interesting conversation. And then we've got a videographer coming up, an SEO guy. We've got quite a few guests for the next sort of 5-6 weeks. So should be exciting.
Yeah, it's good.
And thanks to Chris for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
And yeah, we'll see you next week.